There comes a moment in a man's life when the world's noise becomes too heavy and the silence of his own home becomes the only place that makes sense. You feel it too. The quiet call inward, the instinct that says the life you're chasing out there might already be waiting inside. In the early morning, before the world demands anything from you, there is a softness in the air that most people never notice. The noise hasn't started yet. The thoughts haven't begun their battle. The world outside is preparing to rush, but inside your home, something ancient holds you still. It is here that you finally hear yourself. It is here your mind returns to its natural depth. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." But your soul needs space to speak, and that space begins in the walls you call home. This quiet is not a luxury. It is a necessity. Today, under the title, "Why Staying Home is the Best Thing You Can Do, Stoic Wisdom," we will explore 5 inner lessons that transform your home from a place you simply sleep into a sanctuary that reshapes your mind, strengthens your discipline, and restores the man you are trying to become. These aren't just ideas. They are the foundations every man forgets while he is out chasing distractions, noise, validation, and movement without meaning. Staying home isn't laziness, and it isn't withdrawal. It is the deliberate act of returning to the space where your soul can breathe without interruption. These 5 lessons will show you that home is not the place you escape from. It is the place you return to in order to rebuild what the world has taken from you. Number 1. Your home is your first temple. Your home becomes powerful the moment you stop treating it like a place you merely pass through and start treating it like the first temple of your mind. This matters because a man who does not have a controlled environment cannot have a controlled inner world. When you wake up and your home is chaotic, your thoughts follow. When you walk through your door stressed and the atmosphere gives you no rest, your mind never resets. This is the silent struggle most men face. They seek peace everywhere except the one place designed to hold it. They wander through cafes, streets, and crowds hoping to feel centered, never realizing that the only place capable of grounding them is the one they neglect the most. Seneca once said, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." Your home is where that learning happens. Say it every morning, "This place is my foundation." When you honor your home, you begin to honor your own mind. And when a man honors his mind, he becomes unshakable in a world that tries to move him. Number 2. Solitude sharpens the warrior. Solitude is not the absence of life. It is the sharpening of it. Most men run from being alone because the silence inside their homes reveals the truths they've spent years drowning under noise. When you sit alone in your room, without a screen lighting your face, without conversation to distract you, without movement to hide your unrest, you finally meet the real version of yourself, the one who has been waiting for attention. This matters because every man secretly fears the moment he must face his own mind. Not because the mind is the enemy, but because it exposes the weaknesses he has delayed confronting. The world outside gives you infinite excuses to avoid your own reflection. Your home gives you none. That is why solitude feels uncomfortable at first. You are peeling away the layers of distraction you've wrapped around your suffering. Epictetus once wrote, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Freedom doesn't begin in the streets or in the world or in your achievements. It begins in the quiet moment when you stop running from yourself. Say it every morning, "I do not fear my own company." When you stay home long enough to sit with your thoughts, something extraordinary happens. What once felt like loneliness becomes clarity. What once felt empty becomes peaceful. And what once felt like isolation becomes strength. A man who can sit alone is a man who cannot be controlled. A man who does not fear silence becomes dangerous to the world that depends on his distraction. Solitude sharpens the warrior because the battle for self-mastery is won long before you ever step outside. Number 3. Your home reveals what you really are. A man's home is a mirror that cannot lie, because it reflects the truth of who he is when no one is watching. Outside, you can perform strength, discipline, confidence, and control, but inside your home, the performance ends. This matters because your environment tells the truth long before your words ever do. If your home is cluttered, your mind is cluttered. If your home is chaotic, your habits are chaotic. If your home feels heavy, it means your inner world has not yet learned how to breathe. This is the struggle most men carry silently. They want their lives to change, but they overlook the space where transformation starts. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Your mind takes the shape of what you frequently hold in thought." Your home is where those thoughts live. Say it every morning, "My space reflects my discipline." When you bring order to the room around you, you bring order to the mind within you. And when a man carries internal order, the world outside bends before him instead of overwhelming him. Number 4. Your home protects you from the world's illusions. The world outside is built on illusions designed to pull you away from yourself. It tells you that you must always be visible, always be available, always be present in places that drain you more than they nourish you. Staying home breaks that cycle because it pulls you out of the invisible competition for attention, validation, and status. This matters because every man secretly feels the exhaustion of trying to keep up, but almost none admit it. The struggle is simple. You think you are searching for connection out there, but most of what waits outside is noise dressed as meaning. Staying home gives you the distance to see what truly matters, what truly holds value, and what truly deserves your energy. Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Say it every morning, "I refuse to waste myself." When you step away from the illusions of the world, your vision sharpens. You begin to see life as it is, not as the world performs it. And the man who sees clearly can no longer be fooled. Number 5. Home is where you rebuild the man you're becoming. Growth does not happen in public. It happens in private, quietly, in the hidden moments when no one is clapping and no one is watching. Your home becomes the forge where you reshape yourself, where every small habit compounds into a life you can finally respect. This matters because the world teaches men to seek validation externally, yet the deepest transformation comes from the private rituals that no one else knows about. The early mornings, the focused work, the disciplined choices, the quiet evenings spent strengthening your mind. The struggle most men face is that they expect dramatic change without creating the environment that makes change possible. Home is that environment. Epictetus wrote, "First tell yourself who you would be, then act accordingly." Say it every morning, "I build myself here." When you stay home long enough to practice discipline, to read, to reflect, to train, to think, your life begins to shift. The external world starts to reflect the internal structure you've built. And the man who rebuilds himself at home becomes unmovable anywhere he goes. So when you step back and look at these 5 lessons, you see something clear. Staying home is not withdrawal from the world. It is preparation for it. Your home becomes your temple, your solitude becomes your strength, your environment becomes your truth, your distance from the world becomes your clarity, and your habits become your rebirth. These lessons form the quiet space within you that the world cannot touch. You no longer chase noise. You no longer crave validation. You no longer allow the world to define your direction. Instead, you move through life with a calm center, a steady breath, and an inner stillness that cannot be shaken. This is the heart of Stoic power, the ability to remain grounded in a world that never stops trying to pull you away from yourself. Staying home teaches you that discipline is not punishment, that solitude is not emptiness, and that silence is not loneliness. They are the foundations of the man you are becoming. And once you build that inner fortress, the world outside becomes nothing more than a test you are already prepared to pass.